Welcome, listeners, to episode 1 of Gridlife Digest, the culture and gaming podcast. My name is Noah Friskop, and joining me is Elijah Shaw,
Hello.
Emma Myers,
What is up?
Max Meyer,
Hey guys.
and Micah Binfed.
I don't have a catchphrase at the moment, but I'm working on it.
You can get this show on iTunes and YouTube every Wednesday, and be sure to check out gridlifedigest.com to see all the content in one place. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Gridlife Digest on Twitter and at Gridlife Digest Pod on Facebook and Instagram, so you'll never miss what's happening. So since this is in our inaugural episode, I just wanted to go around the voices and give kind of a quick background to each of you to just kind of set the stage.
So I'm Elijah or Eli, whatever. I live in San Francisco. I'm a student, journalism student. Planning on doing big things. Pretty much all I gotta say. Love video games.
Game journalism is dead, Eli.
People don't want to read anymore.
Other journalism, I can do that too.
That's true.
Gotta diversify yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, yeah.
With game journalism, you really have to have a plan B and C and D because it's the future of it's really unclear as of right now. How about you, Emma?
My name is Emma. I live in Kansas City, Missouri, but I go to school in Oklahoma for video game design. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It's a lot of fun. Video games are, they've always been like my go-to. So I'm excited to start this.
All right, awesome. How about you, Max?
My name's Max, and I graduated college last year, and so now I work in an office, and I'm trying to, have a lifestyle change to become like a better person. So I decided to pick up podcasting with you guys, and I'm hoping that it's going to go well and that people enjoy our content.
Well, my name is Micah, and I feel like I'm the reason why everyone's here because I started out that, freaking group chat. I was like, oh, I want to meet some guys before I go over to Kind of Funny Live 3.
That's true.
That's how I met all you guys, and then it was through the group chat. And then, well, that's not true. I met Emma beforehand on Instagram.
It's
and
lit.
then, yeah, it's lit. And then I met Elijah at freaking Kind of Funny Live 3.
Yeah.
Or, beforehand, I was like, hey, you have a cool, was a Finding Dory hat?
I
Like, I
do.
want to be your friend.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I've lived in good old Washington State most of my life. Not the pretty part, the dry, deserty part. And I really like video games, and this is a lot of fun. And anyways, I've been wanting to podcast for a really long time now. Like some friends and I tried to do it like my sophomore year of high school. It's like, nah, this isn't working out. Like, we're just not good enough for this. I mean, I'm not saying I'm good enough for it now, but I'm gonna try. Just gotta start somewhere.
It's a muscle. Yeah, I hope we get there one day.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta flex that muscle. You can't start off, fucking just going hard at bench press. You gotta
podcasting.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a little bit. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm going to community college at the moment. Not really sure what I want to do. I just have a part-time job at Ross doing stock and do riffing with my dad, and yeah, that's about it.
All right. So my name is Noah Friskop. I live in Boise, Idaho, and I go to Boise State University. I am a media arts student. Kind of like Max said, I kind of wanted a lifestyle change, and this was something that really interested me, this idea of doing this show. And like everyone else here, I really love games. My favorite series is Metal Gear Solid. I'm sure I'll gush about it as much as I possibly can. I just thought we'd be able to share our very unique perspectives with each other, and because we come from such different places. So yeah, I thought the idea of doing this show was really appealing to me. So I hope it becomes something one day. But yeah, we just gotta stretch our muscles for now.
Yep.
All right. So what have you guys been playing?
Yeah. Well, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. Just got a Switch like a week ago,
Are you liking
and
it?
I love it. I play it in bed when I wake up. I bring it to work, play it at lunch. I can't stop playing Mario Kart. That's pretty much all I'm saying.
It's probably one of the only games this year that I can really say is like a solid 10 out of 10.
It definitely
I
is.
don't have any
Even though it's
negatives
bullshit.
about it. Yeah, I don't have any negatives about it whatsoever. Like, honestly.
But that's just a rehashed freaking Wii U game, isn't it?
Yeah, but they fixed the battle mode.
Oh,
Who had a
okay.
Wii U? Let's
more do
be
you need?
honest.
Yeah, no one had it.
And it's on a better
Um,
platform now.
Awesome.
I have a
Yeah.
Wii U.
All right, all right.
I still play my Wii U.
It's not a doorstop.
Yeah.
Okay, I honestly though, I only play it for Zelda because I don't have the money for the Switch right now. So like
Mhm.
that was the only I mean it was a win-win. I don't regret having it now.
How much
But-
dust does that thing have on it?
Actually not a lot because it's basically my mom's Netflix machine.
Oh,
Okay.
what? Someone
The
people
Wii
watch
U?
Netflix on that?
Guess what? The Switch
Wow.
doesn't have Netflix, so it's already got something on the Switch.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully, it gets actual apps. All right.
It will.
yeah.
It's coming.
It will. Netflix, YouTube, just get all the basic stuff. Even the 3DS has them. Like it's gotta happen eventually.
Just have a browser, to be honest.
Yeah.
Browser that works.
I actually I don't know why, but I actually use the 3DS browser quite a bit just for like random Google searches. So even if they can just get something
Porn
basic,
3D porn.
if that's what you want it for, absolutely. Yeah, so I've been getting back into Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor lately. This was a game that I kind of wrote off when it first came out because it just wasn't something I was looking for. I wanted something that it wasn't. I basically wanted The Witcher 3 of Lord of the Rings. And that's just not what it is. So I'm getting back into it now, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Because it's just like Batman with swords.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty much what that game is.
Batman is much more linear. Like the Batman games are some of my favorite of all time, but this is much more like
open world.
Yeah, it's
freeform.
very, very open world.
Yeah, you're kind of up to your own devices for the majority of it.
What do you think about that whole mechanic with the bosses and all that leveling up?
It's really cool. I just think because the first time I played it, I didn't really have like a quote unquote nemesis. Like I kind of just like tore through the guys, but this playthrough, actually there's one guy, I think he's called Knockrom, the Rock Crusher, and this guy's a bastard. Like he keeps
Unkillable.
He keeps surviving, keeps thwarting me. So I gotta get after him. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And this is also the Game of the Year edition. It was on sale on the PSN for like I think $3.99. So I just
it was super cheap.
Yeah, I got that same sale. Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I never got into it. I watched my roommate play it, but like this was after the introduction and everything, and then he gave me the controller, and I just kept dying. So all the orcs were just getting higher leveled.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's not easy. It's not an easy game.
I'm not down for this.
Yeah,
So I never got into it.
It's too stressful.
Yeah, this is one of the only games that like my fingers actually legitimately get sore after playing this game because you're just like it's really hard. It's like not
You're
Dark Souls
mashing a
hard,
lot.
It's just a lot of mashing. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Button mashing the game.
And then along with that, I've been getting into the Return to Arkham collection. So I'm going through Arkham Asylum again, which is a game I've played numerous times, but I'll never not replay that game. Same with City.
No, it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's timeless to me. Like I said, I'll never not replay it. And the graphics do look good. It's a little choppy frame rate wise, and a couple areas are noticeably downgraded. In particular, like the Joker just doesn't look as detailed, but overall, it's great. Like I don't really have any complaints. Besides the fact that they changed Batman's mouth to a perpetual frown all the time, and it just looks weird. Whenever he tries to like emote and talk, like he just has like this scowl on his face all the time.
Jeez.
Which is weird because I looked at the model for the Return to Arkham City Batman, and he's the same as he was in the original, and he just looks better. So I don't know what the decision about that was, but other than that, very minor nitpick. It's very good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing Crash Bandicoot, turning back to childhood.
Those member
Super
boards.
frustrating, but it's really fun. It's just one of those games where like you complete a level and you're like, that's satisfying.
Yeah.
What stage? What are you on?
I just did the Road to Nowhere, and I haven't played in a couple days, but
Because that's the one I'm
That
still
one.
stuck on.
yeah, that one
Fuck
took
level.
forever. I was trying to jump on the ropes, but I kept like misjumping it, so I said screw it, and I'll just like jump on the
Yeah,
plank.
because you either like over jump it or under jump it, and either way you're fucked.
Yeah, or you run along it, and then eventually your feet like slip off of it, and you fall.
Yeah, and you try to straighten yourself out, but it's too late.
Yeah.
Per Schneider said something funny. He basically said like, let me find it real quick. He basically said like, he's happy about Crash because it makes Mario look better. So like I'm paraphrasing, but like basically it makes us appreciate Mario more because of how good the gameplay is, and how in Crash, like a lot of times when you die, it's because of the camera or because of just the jumping. But yeah, I've gotten to, I think I just beat like the first island in Crash 1. I need to go back to it. That's a game I intend to remote play to Vita and just kind of chill with.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. Like, I heard it's really cozy. Like, my friend Nico was telling me about it, and he says it works really well because of the D-pad is so much better on the Vita than PS4.
Absolutely, that was kind of my rationale. So I'll get back to it. I'm slowly trying to tick down my backlog. I have it actually out in a written list.
You do?
Checking through, because that's how bad it is right now.
You got your Excel spreadsheet.
I just got like this like note taking app on my phone, so I'm just going through. It's stupid. I need to just, if I can just beat Horizon this summer, I think I'll be happy, and then maybe like a couple indie games. If I can just get through a couple things, I'll be satisfied. But yeah, it's ridiculous. How about you?
So what is it like actually playing? Because I didn't really grow up on Crash. So, like, what's it like going, because it's obviously such a dramatic and drastic graphics change. Like, do you like that, or do you find it a little bit odd, or like what? Because, like, for me, I'm thinking about, like, I grew up on Jak and Daxter, and I'm thinking, like, if they came out with, like, more of a kind of hyper-realistic Jak and Daxter game, I don't think I'd really like it. I'm just wondering, like, what is it like for you guys, like, going from having, like, played those games as kids to playing it now, but it looks, like, completely different?
So Crash is one of the first games that I can really remember spending a lot of time with, and the only thing I can really think of as far as complaints, because it looks great, but Crash, just his emotions, like, aren't as animated, like, he's not as, like, zany looking, for lack of a better word. They kind of had the same problem with the recent Ratchet and Clank reboot, where Ratchet's face was kind of like monotone the whole time, and if you go back and look at the original game, he was very animated and very emotive. So that's kind of really the only issue I have, because the rest of it looks gorgeous. Like, I really think it fits what Crash is. It's faithful, but then also updated. So that's really all I had to say about it. But
Like, I feel like it works because it's, it's feeding off of your imagination. Like, back then, that's how you would have imagined it would look like, even though it's just shitty PS1 graphics.
It does not hold up graphically.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, playing it right now, that you're getting that same feeling as when you played it, back then.
Yeah.
It's just looks a lot better.
I felt the same way going back and playing Ratchet, because I played a lot of Ratchet as a kid, and the remake looks, I mean, it's gorgeous. It looks like a movie, really, but like the only thing I didn't necessarily like about that game is all the changes, because I love like the original so much.
Significant change.
And I know that it was like the game based on the movie that's based on the game. Like, I knew going into it wasn't going to be like the same game, just revamped, but
yeah. The movie was kind of a detriment, honestly. Like, I still haven't watched it, but you can tell, like, there was, like you said, like, changes made just to, like, fit with the film. And it's on Netflix.
The best
now.
part of the movie, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
The best part of the movie was the Daxter Easter egg, for me, anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know there's some Uncharted Easter eggs in Crash, despite the lack of Naughty Dog logos anywhere.
Non-existent.
I haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, they're very small, but if you look, you can catch them. I just saw them online. But
So what have you been playing, Emma?
Well, I've been working a lot, so I haven't had really any... Earlier this summer, I was playing a lot of Mass Effect, because I never really got into that franchise on last gen.
oh man.
So since I know, like, I missed out big time. And since it's backwards compatible now, I was like, oh, like, I can actually go back and play those games. So I'm still playing the first one, just because I don't have a lot of time anymore. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I freaking love BioWare. Knights of the Old Republic is like my favorite game of all time. So I'm just kind of a BioWare fangirl, I guess.
Man, if you're really enjoying one, you haven't seen nothing yet. It's gonna get real.
Right, that's what everybody keeps telling me. It's like the gameplay in one is so freaking bad, and that it just keeps getting better. So I'm excited for that. The only thing is it kind of sucks because it is an old game.
It doesn't hold up.
Right, it doesn't hold up. Not even. I don't even mind the graphics. It looks like an old, like, did it come out in like 07?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a 10-year-old game.
It looks like an 07 game for me, but that's fine. I still play Coder, and that game came out in 03. But the gameplay is kind of clunky in places. But again, I can look past that because I know it's like a really old game. And I'm looking forward to eventually playing Andromeda just because it's been getting, completely destroyed by every critic. And I just want to see how bad it is because it looks gorgeous to me, in my opinion.
Andromeda was 40 hours of just descending into sadness for me. Loving the trilogy. Like you'll have to share your thoughts about it because it's divisive. Like some people really love it, but man, like it just lacks the soul that the trilogy had, and I really am anxious to hear your perspective from a new fan.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that way about Fallout 4 too.
Yeah,
I personally love Fallout 4, but so many people hated it. So it is just one of those things.
Yeah.
But I also have been playing a lot of when Wolfenstein, the new one, got announced, I was like, oh yeah, I love Wolfenstein. I just kind of like completely forgot about those games. So I like went back out and I re-picked up 2009's Wolfenstein.
Is that good?
Which
I played that one.
Oh, wow.
So I had it back when it first came out, and it's definitely one of those you either love it or hate it type of games.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but it's kind of like an open world type Wolfenstein game. You can get different fun like little abilities and like because of the super weapon type stuff. So there's certain parts of the game where like if you shoot these certain crates, it makes everything like anti-gravity. And it was just different. The one thing that I did hate about it is like BJ Blazkowicz looks like a 13-year-old pubescent boy.
What?
Like he's really skinny and has brown hair, which is like completely like not even what BJ Blazkowicz looks like.
Hashtag not
So-
my BJ.
Right. So like that's the only thing I really hate about it. But I mean, in terms of story, I didn't mind it. Then again, it is an old FPS game. So it is clunky. It's kind of hard to go back and play just because it is clunky. But I mean, maybe it's just nostalgia purposes that I like it so much, but I enjoyed the game. The multiplayer is completely dead. Nobody in the entire face of the earth is playing it.
I mean, that
but
makes sense. Don't you have like superpowers? Is that one? Like this
yeah,
weird ability going on?
it is different, and I think maybe that's why I like it so much because I've played every single Wolfenstein game,
Mm-hmm.
and it is just it's kind of like the black sheep of the franchise.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. I think you have to play it for yourself, and some people hate it, some people like it, but
Because I played a demo for
I
it
just
on
felt like I
PS3.
needed to go back out and play it.
Yeah. Because you're striking all the boxes for me, like Mass Effect and Wolfenstein. Those are a couple of my two favorite franchises ever. Yeah, really excited for New Colossus. I actually wrote a piece about it on okbeast.com. You guys can go check that out.
Oh, nice. Shameless plug.
These guys are great. Go check them out.
Yep.
Yeah, is that everything?
I need to talk about what I played.
Oh, that's true. Go for it.
So I've been playing the BioShock DLC, BioShock Infinite, the Burial at Sea, yeah, on PC, and that's a lot of fun. I didn't play it in the beginning, like when I had BioShock on PS3, because I heard it ruined it. But so far, it's interesting. I don't want to spoil it, but the second episode kind of takes a turn, and it's like I didn't expect this, gameplay change up.
I thought that
It's really
was
interesting.
Universally praised. I thought people really.
Really? Because I heard a lot of people said that ruined the original game for them.
Okay.
Like it fucked it all up.
I haven't played Infinite or the DLC yet. I just got the collection. I really love 1. I just need to get through 2 and Infinite, but
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys recommend that franchise? Because I never got into it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Especially the first one. Like,
And I always see it on sale for like $30.
Yeah, the first one and Infinite are definitely worth it. You don't have to necessarily play through 2, but it's still a fun game.
BioShock for me, I'm in the same boat as Mass Effect. Like I picked it up because it was backwards compatible, just because it was another one of those franchises I completely overlooked. Because when I was a teenager, all I cared about was Call of Duty, so I had to grow up a little bit. But yeah, I got the first one, and I'm like, oh, I have to be like a little over halfway through, and I love it so far. I knew I'd love it. It was just a matter of time of actually sitting down and taking the time to play it.
yeah, that's the problem a lot of the time. It's like a lot of things. Also,
I've read the book though.
There's a book.
Yeah, BioShock Rapture. It's basically like the story of the first game, but also like what happened before and like after. It's really good.
See, that's what's interesting to me is what happened, like the build up to Rapture and like how it got created and that whole story with all these characters. But I'll have to check that out.
Nice.
All right. Let's get into topics then.
Okay.
Micah, do you want
And
to
I think I have the first topic. So mine is on like how your gaming habits have changed over the years. So growing up, my parents didn't let me play many video games. Like I can only play on weekends. So every weekend I'd wake up at fucking 4 a.m. so I could play as much as I could before, my pesky brother and sisters got on and stole a TV.
That's awesome.
but anyways, now that I can play games all the time, like I just don't want to. Like it takes a lot of effort for me to get into a game like freaking Witcher 3. That takes so much effort. Like there's so much going on there. It's like not down. I cannot handle this right now.
Once it grabs you though, it just pulls you. Man, I love that.
But I don't know. Have your guys' gaming habits changed over the years? Like
I'm in the same boat as you. Like where when I was growing up, my parents didn't want like gun games in the house, so I missed out. Like how most video games are based on
all the fun ones.
yeah, so like I missed out on all of that, and so if I wanted to play Call of Duty or whatever, I would have to go to my neighbor's house. So that's where I played a lot of my games. And then eventually, as I got older, my parents were a little more lenient, but now like I'm like catching back up on series. Yeah. So like I played Uncharted for the first time, with the collection and everything. Even though I knew about it, I just couldn't play it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, I missed out on like Metal Gear Solid, and I should get into that, but I don't know.
You should have told your parents that you don't have to kill anybody.
Yeah, you technically don't. You can sneak through the whole game without killing anyone.
I mean, in the first one, you're snapping necks left and right, but I mean, after that, you're good. It's hard, and I wouldn't recommend it, like totally at least. But
yeah, and now all my games are like have to have some sort of story. Like I find just first-person shooters so boring. Like Destiny is like so boring to me, and
or every Call of Duty campaign.
Yeah, all that stuff is so like.
Whoa, hey,
especially because like before it used to be split screen, so you could like play couch co-op, but now like they don't really have that, and you like kind of are forced to play online. And if before I met you guys, I didn't really have like a consistent like online friend base, that would play. Because a lot of my real life friends, they don't play video games, and then if they do, it's not like they have PS4. I have some people that play Xbox, and some that play on PC, whereas I mainly play
Xbox is lit.
PlayStation.
No, it's not. Clunky UI.
No, but like Max, I totally relate with the whole like shooter thing. Like for the longest time growing up as a kid, like I only had like sports games and like every really, really awful 3D platformer that ever graced the PS2. And like we had shooter games like Call of Duty and Halo and stuff, but my dad would keep them in like his dresser, and we'd have to like go and ask him permission to play it. The first shooter I ever played was Star Wars Battlefront, and that's because I wanted to play it so bad, and I waited for my dad to leave one day, and I was like, awesome. So I like started playing Battlefront, and I was like having so much fun. And he eventually like came home and like saw me playing it, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront." And I was like, it's so much fun. And then like from that point on, he just like didn't even care anymore.
Why Battlefront though? It's like not even that bad. Like it's like so tame.
I think it's really just basic. My dad's in the military, so he's very like, guns are not a joke type thing. And I understand like being a little kid and stuff and like shooting people, but I was like, Dad, look, I'm like shooting droids, like it's not even like people. And I just think I think seeing me play it was finally just like for him like, oh, it's not bad.
Oh, it's fine. Watch those wrist drops.
Yeah. And then from that point on, I like never looked back. But I am the opposite of Max, I guess, a little bit, where I love first person shooters. I love like Call of Duty and Halo like multiplayer and stuff, but I think it's just more nostalgic purposes for me because I do enjoy story games as well. I mean, I still haven't played like any of the Uncharted games except for Golden Abyss. I know. It's because I
Maybe
missed
just also way
out.
better at first-person shooters than I am. Like, I think I just get over it because I suck.
Like,
Yeah, and like Emma, you're so good at them, so it's easy for you to love them. Whereas fucking
Yeah,
we
because you're
suck
the
at
person
them.
that's trash talking, and where I'm on the receiving end of the trash talking.
Yeah, we're the noobs you talk shit about.
Yeah.
hey, I get that, but again, it's because like I've been playing those games for so long though. Like it would be so sad and tragic if I've been playing Halo since I was 5 and I was complete utter garbage at it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess. I'm
But
kind
like
of a-
I completely missed out on the PS3 era. So like that's why I didn't like I didn't get a PS3 till like last year, 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I really only got it for the Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank collections. Even
Yeah,
though I had both of them on Vita, which I love. That's like the only thing I ever really played on my Vita. And of course, I had to get rid of my Vita for I don't even remember why. It was like I was desperate for money or something, so I traded it in.
How much
but
do they give you for that?
oh, it like nothing. I bought it when it
Chump
was like
change.
170, like new and everything. And I'm sure that I got like $20 for it. I'm sure.
Oh man,
Whole $20.
Not worth it.
Not down.
But I have the PS TV, which
What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay,
I'm really
so-
not sure.
the PS TV is basically a console version of the Vita.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
like it's like a little box, and you plug it in USB to your TV, or not USB, but like HDMI to your TV, and it's literally like a console Vita. So it has the Vita like home screen and everything. The only issue with it is that you're projecting games that are meant to be played on Vita on your television.
So it's all stretched
So
out.
it looks
crappy.
right. It looks like crap, and half the Vita games aren't even compatible with it.
Oh,
so
'cause
like,
the touch controls and all that.
not even necessarily that. Like Ratchet and Clank, I bought digitally, and Ratchet and Clank and the Jack and Daxter collection is not compatible, which was the whole reason I bought the
Oh my
PS
God.
TV.
What's the point?
Which, granted, it's my fault for not knowing that. I just assumed like, oh, you pop your Vita games in and you play your Vita games
It
on the
just
TV.
works.
But yeah,
It just works.
there's a lot of games that aren't. But I do enjoy it because I can play some of the old PSP games I had on my TV, which is kind of nice. So I
Nice.
play a lot of Ape Escape. But
Is Persona 4
Yeah.
on there?
you know, it might be. I'll actually look that up real quick.
Okay, because I've only heard like whispers in the wind of the PS TV. Like I didn't really ever know what it was, so that's interesting. But yeah, it kind of sucks if not much works with it.
It was just tragic for me because I was like, because at this point I didn't have a PS3. So I was like, yes, I can finally play, Jack and Daxter in HD on my TV. But yeah, that didn't happen. So
It's a shame about the Vita port of the Jack collection because it's like the
Oh,
most,
it's so shitty.
it's the most janky of like all of them. Like you play the Sly one and it's like flawless. You play the Ratchet one and it's pretty much flawless. And then you go to Jack and it's like all slow. But
it worked fine for the Precursor Legacy, but that was because that game is so basic.
mhm.
And then like Jack 3, trying to do the one mission where you're in the car and you're being chased by those gigantic metalhead things.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Impossible. It was impossible. I don't
It
think
is.
I ever even beat it on the Vita because, yeah, the Vita controls for 2 was okay, but like the vehicle stuff just did not work well.
Not at all.
Yeah, my Vita is pretty much an indie and like PS1, PS2 classic machine. So I got all those collections, but I really haven't dove too deeply into Jack just because of the technical issues. But yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, the God of War collection on Vita also has a lot of janky issues with it. The frame rate's bad, and it's also hard to control. So that's also another one that sucks.
That's a shame because I got that to prep for the new one because I haven't actually played God of War. I was always turned off by Kratos, but I'm trying to give him a chance.
He's just a big angry white dude.
Yeah,
Well,
he's a just
not
Very white.
He's very nice. He's very one note. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into him. So that kind of sucks to hear about God of War 2. I'm playing the was it Ghost of Sparta, the PSP one right now. Hard.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've only played the PSP God of Wars.
Oh really?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Were they good?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played the other one, so I can't really compare, but
It's like, well, most things look
So,
next to nothing.
Persona 4 Golden is backwards compatible on PS TV.
Okay.
Nice.
So I might actually need to pick that up because I want to do. I know that the Danganronpa games are also compatible,
Okay.
and I've always wanted to play those. I just never got around to it.
Is Golden Abyss compatible? Because that'd be awful. I feel like stretched.
I don't think so. And
There's too much
the thing-
control or touch
yeah, I was about
controls
to say
going on.
Golden Abyss has way too much touch controls with the whole back pad
Yeah.
removing dirt from crap.
It's
And then-
excessive.
And then pointing the freaking camera at the light so you can,
Right.
uncover the mystery. It's like,
God.
calm down. No one wants to do this.
That's
I still
actually-
enjoyed Golden Abyss though.
It is a fun game.
I love Uncharted, but I honestly still haven't beat Golden Abyss just because of all that crap. Like, I'll get back to it, but it just I was like, I don't want to do any of this right now. Like, please.
Yeah, especially the final boss because it's just freaking just swiping back and forth. That's all
sounds
all that boss
awful.
is.
Like, I'll just
It's
play
it's
2 or 3
depressing
over
when
and
you
over.
play it on crushing because if you fuck up once, like game over, you have to start over and go against the boss again. It's not fun.
It does not sound fun at all. Shout out to the Vita.
Nope. Yep, it's a good
I
console.
enjoyed
Good
my
handle.
Vita a lot when I had it. I wish I still had it because I loved my Vita way more than my 3DS. I just
Oh, yeah.
did. Even though the only thing I really played on my 3DS were the HD, like the HD Zelda games,
Those are great.
and then Mario Kart 7, which I loved, but I don't know.
Oh,
But then again, I was playing games I cared way more about on Vita, so
Mhm.
hmm
I think we're a little off topic.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. Okay,
Yeah, just let
just
me-
whatever. It's go with the flow.
Something that I forgot to bring up while we're doing what we're playing. I'm playing Symphony of the Night Castlevania on Vita right now. It's kind of has some slowdown, but it's pretty good overall. It's a great game. It's timeless. But yeah, in terms
Great
of my
music.
habits, yeah, great music. In terms of my habits, I'm kind of a mix between Emma and Max a little bit. I've actually grown. I used to really care about story in games, and I've kind of drifted more to caring a lot about mechanics and gameplay. And I love shooters. I think if I really had to pick, shooters are probably my top genre, but I really don't like multiplayer. What I really like is a good single-player, lengthy FPS campaign. Like Wolfenstein, like the new Doom, that kind of stuff, as opposed to Call of Duty. I like Call of Duty. I play the campaigns, but it's just kind of not what I prefer.
I like the Black Ops campaigns. Like
That's
1 and
great.
2 were freaking fun, but once it got to 3, it's like there's too much going on.
Those were my
well,
two
the
favorite
EXO
ones.
is
Really, yeah, 1 and 2 are probably one of the better Call of Duty games.
Black Ops 1's my
I like
favorite. In terms of multiplayer, though, it story-wise, I'd have to go with World at War.
yeah, I was
Just 'cause
gonna say World at War.
I'm such a sucker for the World War II. That's why I'm so excited for the new Call of Duty.
How do you feel about
Just because it's been so long, and it's also so nostalgic.
Yeah,
Because aren't they making the zombies like way more gory?
it looks
and the
terrifying.
new
Oh,
The
yeah.
zombies look
Did you see
Yeah.
the trailer?
terrifying.
Right, the zombies actually
Gosh.
looks scary.
Like I was
'Cause before-
disturbed watching that trailer.
It was creepy.
Right, like before, like zombies was just it was just like it was like a survival game mode, except for the people that you're killing are zombies. But it wasn't that. This looks like brutal though.
Yeah, they have like.
It
metal
looks like
bolts
it
up their
honestly looks
spine.
like it could be its own game.
I'm
That'd be
surprised
awesome.
they haven't done that.
It's really
Like just
striking.
shipped it off as its own game,
Yeah, or like just like a standalone.
prepackaged.
But yeah,
Mhm.
they look terrifying in this new one. How do you feel about the removal of the swastikas, the censorship? Because I'm really not down with that.
I understand why they did it, but I think it's completely stupid.
That is dumb because
Because-
it's a part of history.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, they're putting in you watch their interviews and they stress the fact that they want it to be as true to the time period, and they're shooting the real guns, and they want it to be
Yes.
like you're really there, but then you're taking out the symbol of the entire like war. I mean,
or at least the European theater. Like if they wanted to avoid swastikas, they should have done the Pacific theater and just avoided the
right.
Nazis altogether, because it's like, what's the point? Like, yeah, like you said, like they're touting how historically accurate it is, and it might be so for the campaign. I don't think they removed it for the campaign, but I know for zombies, I noticed in the trailer there weren't any, and then for multiplayer there weren't any. Yeah, and that just struck me the wrong way. It's like, why would you even bother doing World War II at all if you're not going to be respectful to how it was?
Yeah, to me it would be like making like a Civil War video game and not using the Confederate flag.
Exactly, that's exactly right. Yeah, we'll have to do another topic on like historical censorship sometime. But
yeah, that'd be fun to get into.
yeah,
That would be.
it just kind of pisses me off.
It's funny how like my taste in games hasn't really changed all that much, except for the fact that I do like more RPGs now, because I didn't used to.
Yeah.
Coder was the first RPG I ever played, and I remember my dad got it, and I was like a little kid, and I remember trying to play it, and it was like too complicated for me. I don't know if just like, but then again, I was also playing it on Xbox, and the Xbox port of that game was made for PC.
Absolutely.
So the controls are so awful on Xbox, but it was just like so much for me because you weren't given all your, weapons and stuff ahead of time, and it wasn't clear cut what you were supposed to do, and it was just confusing to like my little mind.
It's old BioWare.
But when I got older, and I finally beat the Endar Spire, which is like the training mission, and you get to Terrace, the first world, and you're just like, I can literally go anywhere and I can do all of this stuff. And then thanks to Coder, I got into franchises like The Elder Scrolls and Fallout and like all those open world games, and I appreciate them so much more now than I ever did. Oh, yeah. So I owe a lot to that game. I really do.
KOTOR really is a gateway drug to a lot of people for role-playing games, I think. Yeah, I played it on PC. I actually was really late to the party. Kind of when growing up, like there weren't really many RPGs in my house. Like kind of my dad in particular, he was kind of against them. He just didn't like turn-based things. So I played like most of the Star Wars games, but not the best one until way later, until I could buy it myself. And yeah, I really loved it. Even then, even so far removed. Yeah, I couldn't imagine playing it on Xbox though.
Now it's just like time is just the factor for me, like because I work and I go to school, and like I just don't have the time to like sit down and play like a story-based mode anymore, a story-heavy game anymore. And I think that's why I'm drawn to like first-person shooters so much, is because like I can sit down and like pop in Halo and play a couple multiplayer games and like go to work and I'll be like just fine. And I played some games, but I can't really like sit down and play like an RPG like that for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think that's a problem that we all share. Because like for me, like I wake up, I go to work, I come back, I'm tired. I don't always want to invest the energy and time into a game. Sometimes a lot of the time I'll push through and I'll actually really enjoy myself. But like I used to be able to play games like Fallout, Elder Scrolls for hours on end and really get far in them. And now it's really hard. And also with how my backlog is, like it's piled up because I have disposable income and I can buy games, and then it's just a downward spiral. But yeah, it's just time. Time is hard. Like we're going back to school pretty soon. Like that's just gonna make it harder. So yeah, it's just sometimes you just gotta find the games that you can just kind of like pop in and out of.
Yeah, I've just accepted the fact that I'm not gonna play all the games I've owned. It's like they're just collecting dust now. I'll play them once in a while. I'll try like. My problem is I'll put in a game for like 10 minutes. I'll get to the loading screen, like not down, and then go to the next game, go to the loading screen. I don't want to play this right now. Just rinse, repeat with all my games. It's like I can't play anything right now, so I'll just watch Netflix.
Yeah, mood is a pretty big factor too. It's just like even though this thing is good, like I don't want to. That's not what I'm feeling right now. So yeah, I feel like we all kind of share the same kind of change. It's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's also just like getting older. I mean, when I was a kid, I could sit down and play video games for like 36 hours straight, and like I wouldn't get bored or anything. But now, like I sit down and I'll play like 1 or 2 matches of Call of Duty, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like that's enough for me.
Yeah.
in terms of that type of game.
You got your gaming fix for the day.
Right.
Just shoot up some Call of Duty.
And
all
it's
good.
it's weird because I as I've gotten older, and I've actually thought about this a lot, like I tend to enjoy like gaming culture and the stuff that surrounds games and people talking about games and stuff more than actually like going out and like playing.
Absolutely.
I know exactly what you mean. Like
Yeah, and
that's all we do. We just watch other people play the game so we don't have to, or that's the reason why Twitch is around. It's like we're too damn lazy.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like, yeah, there's an element of playing it. I don't really consume much like streaming or let's play content. I just like hearing like-minded people discuss them. Like,
Yeah.
kind of funny in particular. But,
yeah, like I like learning more about like it's so nerdy, but like almost like the lore behind a game more than I like playing the game itself.
yeah, that makes sense.
Which is very odd, but like I don't know. That is something that's changed for me over the years, definitely.
Yeah, that whole idea of like only being able to do like a little bit at a time. That's honestly why it's taken me so long to get through Horizon. Like I still haven't beaten it yet. I just like I'll play for a little bit and then just kind of be satisfied. And that's a big game, so it's 40
a big
hours.
game.
So it's taken me a long time. I'm getting toward the end, but yeah, I just kind of like, all right, I'm done. I've killed some long neck or not kill long necks, but kill a couple of robots, be good, and then do a quest or two, just kind of slowly chipping it away. And the last time I really felt like pulled in to a game for like hours and hours and hours was The Witcher 3, because like not only was it fun to play in my opinion, a lot of people don't like the combat, but I actually really love it. But that story was so engrossing that I had to know what happened, so I played that game constantly until I was done. So
I actually went through a extremely long period where I like didn't really play games at all, and it was all because my senior year in high school I took a psychology class and we had to like come up with an experiment to like do and kind of test for ourselves. So my experiment was I would make sure to play at least 5 hours of video games a day.
oh my gosh,
And right, but it was even more brutal for me because I think I was playing volley. It was either volleyball or basketball, but I was playing a sport at the time. So there would be times I'd get out of school, I'd have a basketball game, and I'd come home, and it would be like 9 at night, and then I'd have to play 5 hours of video games.
I feel like that's setting yourself
And it
up
was like
to get burned out.
Yeah.
yeah, and it totally was. I went out and I got like Red Dead Redemption, and I just like went out and bought some games that like I hadn't played that I was hoping that I could like really get into and stuff. But it was such a mental thing, which was the whole idea of the experiment.
Did you
but-
get a good grade on it at least after all of this?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had to write like a big report on it and everything, but it was just kind of interesting, just to see personally how much I've changed. Because 14-year-old me would have been like, sweet, I get to play 5 hours of video games every single day.
Yeah.
But like 18-year-old me was like, wow, I would much rather be sleeping right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that seems like too high of a number anyway. 5 hours, maybe like a couple, but every single
Yeah, 5 is a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
5 is a
especially-
lot.
especially when sleep and like you said, volleyball and sports are taken into account.
So how much did you actually enjoy yourself, like having to put yourself through that?
Not at all.
Not at all. Like
Honestly, not at all. And it
Dang.
made me kind of sad because I do love video games so much, but I think it was just like being forced. And of course I totally did this to myself. And that was the whole point of the assignment, was to see how it affected me and how it affected my mood. And honestly, it made me like a terrible person to be around because I was always tired, and I'd like have to come home and I'd be, instead of being like, at school, I used to be like, oh man, I can't wait to get home and play this game,
Yeah.
But at school I found myself being like, man, I have to go home and I have to play freaking 5 hours of like, and that was back when the only console I had in my room at the time was a PS3. So I only had like a handful of games to play. And it was just, I tried so hard.
Even with Red Dead, I feel like you hit.
Yeah,
the-
even with Red Dead, which really, I hate the fact that I didn't enjoy Red Dead because I don't know why I didn't. It's a Rockstar. It's like GTA, but in the Wild West. I really don't know why I didn't like it, but
I bet if you went back to it, you would really have a good time. Like,
and you know, it's honestly probably is like the whole mental thing. Like in my mind, I was like, I have to sit here and like force myself to play this game
Absolutely.
instead of actually trying to.
So it's
really
like taking something you love and then forcing you to
Oh, yeah.
do it, so you won't like it. Is that
Right.
basically like the whole point of your project?
Yeah, it was more the fact of if making myself play more video games would make me happier, like how it would affect me.
Oh, okay.
And it definitely affected me in a negative way. But again, it was all circumstantial. So
yeah, I definitely recommend going back and at least trying Red Dead, especially now that's backwards compatible on Xbox One. Like,
It runs better too.
yeah, with the running better. I played on PS3 and it ran like crap.
Who cares?
yeah,
man?
I
It's
was
still a
playing
good
it on
game.
PS3 too, so I really do need to get the Xbox copy. The only thing that I hate is when a game becomes backwards compatible, GameStop is like, oh, well, we can charge you triple the
Yeah, we can
price
charge
Now I
now.
can jack up the prices.
It's pretty smart though. I mean, business wise, like it's dumb, but you know, there's demand for it again.
Like I'll never forget. Like I went into GameStop one day. Call of Duty 2 was like $3, and now it's like 20.
Now that's backwards compatible. Wow.
Jeez.
It's probably. I mean, I want to say it's worth it, but for Call of Duty 2, I don't know. I don't know about that.
That's
I
an
went and
old-ass
sold my
game.
Call of Duty 2 because
That was
I'd
smart.
beaten it. I hadn't played it in forever, and I'm like, well, I can get more money for it now since it's backwards compatible.
Yeah,
Doesn't that game come out in like 2005 or something crazy like that?
yeah, it's old.
I think you might be right. I
Yeah.
think it was 05.
Wasn't that a 360 launch title?
Yeah, it was. I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that.
Damn. It's a long time ago.
Is
We're
that
getting old,
everything?
guys.
Call of Duty 2.
Is it?
I mean, so I didn't say anything about gaming habits, but mostly because like I like was just listening to you guys, and it was such a way different experience than me. Like I grew up playing video games like from day one, pretty much, and shooters. I played like back in the PS2 era, so I was like 6, maybe. But yeah, like now that I'm in college and like doing more adult stuff, I'm doing less like campaign heavy games and more just like chill out, like put a podcast on and play like Destiny or I don't know, even Fallout. Like I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing that much. But yeah, like my backlog has just grown because I don't really want to sit through a campaign and just play like even I don't know. I mean,
So,
it took me like almost a whole year to play Arcanite.
jeez.
I beat that game in a weekend.
Yeah, I beat Arkham City in like a single week,
Yeah,
but that was back in high school.
exactly. That was for me too. Like that was back in a time where I had a whole weekend to dedicate to games. But yeah, that's why I'm actually really excited for Destiny 2. Is just something I can like chip away at just little by little, and also have like that story element and like the PvE element as well as the PvP. So I'm really excited for Destiny 2 to come out for that reason.
Have you played the beta yet?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Is it good? I'm thinking about getting it because I think it's open now, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
believe for the
open.
weekend, yeah.
At least for PS4.
I believe it is for both, but don't quote me on that. But
For both?
It's
Alright.
it's a lot of fun.
I'll need to look into it.
I'm actually really glad about how small it is because I didn't really want to see too much. Like for the beta for Destiny 1, I believe it showed way too much content, especially considering how little content the game actually had. But yeah,
So it showed the entire game.
yeah, well, like a fourth of it. But yeah, I recommend just jumping into it, just getting the feel of the mechanics. The guns feel great. It's a lot of fun. The story seems a lot more involved this time. I highly recommend just giving it a shot.
I enjoyed the first one. I think the first one came out at a really good time for me personally anyway,
Yeah.
because the PS4 didn't have like that many games. Like the only shooters that were out, I can't remember if like Ghosts or Advanced Warfare was the Call of Duty that was like out at the
It was
time.
Ghost.
It was Ghost. Okay, yeah, then that explains like everything. But like I enjoyed it a lot because I do not like MMOs whatsoever. I try so hard to get into them and I just can never. And I enjoyed it up until the point I think you reach level 20. Yeah, when you start needing like light armor to level up. And at that point I was like, you know,
Yeah, I feel like
I've gotten out of the game what I was looking for. So
Yeah, we should do a whole other topic on MMOs another day. Because it's a beast of its own.
I could talk all day about Destiny, so yeah, that's true.
Destiny, either or both, whichever.
One or the other.
Is that everything? Anybody
I think
forget
so.
anything? All right, Emma, what do you got for us?
So mine's a little bit different, obviously. I want to talk about not necessarily just like ghosts or the idea of the paranormal, but like that plus like just things that you can't really like explain. And so like ghosts and stuff like that has always been an interest for me. Like ever since I was a little kid. I think it actually all started with those did you guys ever read those like scary stories to tell in the dark books?
Like the really
Nope.
macabre
I read
looking cover.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
Goosebumps a lot
Black and
too.
white.
But like I read those books as a kid and like they just fascinated me and I loved getting scared. So my dad had this like collection of like Reader's Digest books and one of them was like Ghosts and Hauntings. And I read it when I was a kid and it just like really, really interested me. But I watched like a ton of like ghost hunting shows and everything like that, but I never like believed in ghosts. And even to this day, I still don't know if I do because I just simply, I don't know. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, yes, I 100% believe in ghosts or this like paranormal realm. And then there's people out there that are just like, that's stupid. Like there's no such thing as anything like that. And I was just wondering, like, have you guys had like any experiences or like what are your like genuine opinions on this idea of these things that we just can't explain and we'll never be able to?
So I absolutely do not believe in ghosts or like paranormal stuff like psychics and all that. But a lot of people I know do, so I kind of feel bad like telling them like I don't believe in it and like don't tell me about it because it's kind of pointless. I'm not saying it's stupid, but like I don't believe what you're saying and like I can't convince you. Like things just happen, you know.
So you've never had any sort of weird experience that led
No, never.
Nothing.
Not that I couldn't like
Explain.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing for people. Like if people haven't experienced anything, then obviously they're not going to believe. I mean, I have the piece of audio that Noah can play here in a second for you guys, but I never believed because for the longest time I wanted to believe so bad, but I had never had an experience or anything. I didn't have a reason to believe. And that's why, you know, me and some friends at school, we would, it's so freaking stupid, but we would go to like the graveyard in town at like really, really late at night. Like, don't do that. That's such a bad thing, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal. But like, we would do that, yeah. And we would, you know, we would just sit there and we'd talk and we'd share experiences, and we were just like, you know, let's just like ask some questions, you know, see if we even get anything. And we did. And this audio that we'll play in a second, for me was like, it was like so, I don't even know. Like, it's hard for me to sit here and even to this day be like, yes, ghosts are real. Even though I've had that experience and I can listen to this audio and like I was there and I know that, you know, nobody obviously said anything. And it is a very personal experience for me, but I still just can't sit there and be like, yeah, you know, ghosts are real and stuff like that. And I think it's also, you know, like, I don't know what it is, and I don't want to mess with stuff that I don't know like that. Because demonic activity and stuff is like, you know, I believe in it anyway. And I don't want to be anywhere near that but it's hard because I want to know more. You know, I want to know, like, is this thing real or not? So
Curiosity killed the cat.
yeah, for real. I mean, if I could be like a professional ghost hunter, that would be like my dream job. That's been like my dream job ever since I was a little kid.
You just have to
But,
do a
like-
reality show
Right.
to fund your expeditions.
I don't know. And I think maybe I love the idea of it all so much, even though it's not true, or even if it is, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel
it's just
like,
one of those things.
Yeah, I had a really weird experience. What was it, my freshman year of high school? So we were at this retreat at my church. It was a requirement for getting my confirmation done because I'm Catholic and all that. And anyways, this guy, he comes over and he starts praying over a bunch of us. And people just start falling over left and right because, he's like, oh, you're full of the Holy Spirit. And anyways, this one girl, she passes out on the ground and she starts moving weird. It's like, what the hell's going on with her? And so he's like, oh, she's possessed or whatever. So he has us all pray over her, and then she starts screaming and whatnot. And he's like, oh, leave her, demon, leave her. And then all of a sudden she like goes quiet, and he's like, oh, the demon left the room. And then anyways, people started like praying in tongues and whatever. So that's like your own like personal prayer language with God. And anyways, I started doing it, and it's like, what the hell am I saying? Like, just straight up gibberish. Like, I don't know how to explain that. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like it's something you can't. It's like you said, it's something you can't quantify, and it's something we will never know the answer to. That's
exactly because there's no science that can explain that.
Exactly. And not everything can be explained with numbers, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, be sure to put headphones on, listen very carefully. I'll try to make it louder. Just brace, because this is some crazy shit.
We really want to see you. We've heard you. We've heard you, but we really want.
I'll do it again.
We really want to see you. We've heard you. We've heard you, but we really want.
And we were just sitting there, and we just did the basic. We just kind of walked around the graveyard, just talking. And we just like would sit down under like the clock tower, and we just like ask questions, We're like, we'll listen back, see if anything happens, And we did. And there were some times, and of course this audio clip from the very first time we went was on my old phone. So unfortunately, like, it's lost. But you could hear, like, we would say something or we'd ask a question, and you could hear, like, mumbling almost. We couldn't necessarily make out any words, but there was one point, if you've seen any ghost hunting shows, they do what they call, like, provoking. And basically what it is if you're trying to, like, get a response from something, and you're just not, then they'll like try to provoke the ghost, and trying to like egg them on, just to try to get them to do or say something. So now I was doing that, just kind of like trash talking. And you actually heard, I really, really wish that I could have had this clip for you guys too, but you heard like a little girl say, "Don't hurt us."
Oh gosh.
Oh,
And
gosh, I would have loved to
like
heard that.
my friend 100% did not believe in ghosts or anything, but when I let her listen to that and I showed her that, I mean, she started crying. And like it was like this epiphany for her, where it's like all of her life she had like never believed in any of this, but then this completely unexplained thing happened, and then it was just like, well, now what do I believe? Because what I thought I believed isn't necessarily real anymore in her mind.
Yeah, in her mind. Yeah, I feel
So
like you need
the
to have an
second
experience
time-
like that.
Yeah, definitely. So the second time, and for me, that was kind of like my first real experience too, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So immediately I was like, well, we need to go back, like now that we know that there's something, we should try again or try harder, and to see, maybe this was just like, I mean, I don't even know, we needed like confirmation or something. So we went back, and in the clip, you hear me say, "We really want to see you," and I say, "We've heard you," and that was me making reference back to that original clip. And right after I say that is when you hear the voice say, "Are you sure about that?" And I remember the first time I was sitting in my dorm room and I was listening back and I heard that, and I was just like I just had to like take my headphones out and I was like, what the heck? Because it's so hard. It was so creepy, and like it's really hard to think about. Like I was there, and I know that nobody said that. You know, like there wasn't even a guy there, and it's obviously a male voice.
That's creepy.
And exactly, and it's just this thing where like it instantly made me just like scared, which is for me, since I do like all that scary stuff, I've become almost like immune. Like horror games and horror movies and stuff, I love them, but they don't scare me anymore. But this like genuinely made me scared because I was like, what is this thing? You know? Like, is this real? Is this not real? And that's where I am like now. Like, there's two types of like hauntings. There's like intelligent haunting and there's like residual haunting. An intelligent haunting is like what's in that clip. It is a direct response to something that I said. Whereas like a residual haunting is like, you know, if you were to go to like Gettysburg at night and you thought you heard like cannon fire or like a scream or something. Residual haunting is like the replaying over and over and over again of these like traumatic events that happened in an area or to people that used to live in a house per se. And it was just my first experience, and I still don't know, because part of me still is just like, there's no way that that kind of stuff can be real. And it's weird because like I do believe in like angels and demons and stuff, and is there this like realm in between? Like I don't even know, and it is scary to think about, and it is scary to think that we'll never truly know.
So are like demons and ghosts, are they not the same thing? Like what's going on there?
That's the thing, I don't know. Like my mom, I come from a super religious family, and you know, I'm religious too, and that's like my mom's whole thing is like there's angels and demons, but there's no in between. You know, so she's like, she thinks that like these things that we think are unexplained or that we think are like these ghosts are actually something, in reality, it's actually something way more powerful.
Wow.
And I do believe that, but then again, I don't. And I don't know. You know, like it's such a cop-out answer, but like I really don't know. But there is no way to know.
Because I've heard ghosts, they're just supposed to be, you know, like wandering spirits or something. They're just lost, you know?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like these souls that are almost like trapped or something.
Well, like to me, that's, you know, I'm Catholic, so we believe in the whole...
It's like purgatory.
Yeah, purgatory. Right. That's kind of how I think of it as, you know, just like an unexplainable purgatory. Like they're just trapped, you know, it's neither heaven or hell. They're just stuck here with us, just kind of in another dimension or whatever. And
that's just crazy.
Once in a while we get a glimpse of them or hear them if we reach out. But otherwise, you know, we're on our separate paths, like separate wavelengths. We're not going to hear them or see them, but once in a while we do.
Yeah, I just find it all fascinating. You know, this stuff that we'll never truly be able to know or understand, and everybody has their own personal view on it because like, yeah, like, some people have never had an experience, so, you know, they just don't believe. And then there are people like me and my friends that have experienced this, and like we've heard this stuff, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of exist in the space that I really haven't had an experience, so I don't feel like I'm qualified to really have an opinion, besides that we don't know and that we can't know and that we'll never really know. And
so you've never had any like experience where like a light turned off or something weird like that?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I've never had anything either. But that clip was really weird.
That clip freaked me out. Like when I first heard it, I
Well,
struggled
and
to hear it, and then once I heard it, it was like, oh shit.
what's even scarier is actually just like the events that would happen in me and my friend's life after the fact. Because, you know, we did all that and all that stuff happened, and I was just like, okay, you know, like this is obviously like real to us now, and we probably shouldn't be messing with it because God knows what could happen.
I think
Have you been back
stance
since?
No, I have not been, and I don't think I necessarily want to go back there.
Mhm.
But then again, I also really, really want to. But things have just started ever since that. Unexplained things keep happening to me. Stuff that didn't used to happen at all, but now it is.
Like
Like
what?
recently, like my whole chapstick thing, which is kind of stupid, but like I had this chapstick, and I'm like obsessed with chapstick. I always have it with me. Well, I went to take a shower one night and I left it sitting right next to my computer. I came back, it was gone. I looked everywhere for it. I could not find it, and it was just gone. So I had to go out and buy a new one. And I went for a walk one night, and I left my chapstick in my pants when I took my shower. And I came back, and my chapstick was sitting on top of my computer,
The hell?
just sitting there. And I opened it, and I was like, that's odd. I was like, but my first thing, you know, is to try to rationalize it. Like, oh, maybe my mom or my dad like bought me chapstick and they just set it there. But I opened, and it was like, it was used. It was the same exact chapstick that had just randomly disappeared.
Wow.
Are you sure?
And that
No one
that just
followed it?
happened. And you know, of course, maybe my brother's just playing like a prank, but like
Mhm.
I've asked them, and they're completely just like, they're just like, what? Like they act like I'm stupid, and I'm like, okay, you obviously don't even know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And that just happened a couple days ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, that happened earlier this week.
Wow.
But right after the whole graveyard thing, weird things started happening in my dorm room. Like there was one time, me and my roommate were literally just sitting there, and my flip-flop completely flipped over
Just by itself?
by itself. It was laying bottom up, and it flipped over on its own.
Did you see it happen, or did you just look away and then?
My roommate did. I had heard something, and my roommate had seen it. And I was like, what the heck was that? And she was just like in complete shock, disbelief. She was like, your freaking flip-flop just flipped over on its own.
Flip flop, flip.
And I looked down, and sure enough, it's there. And there was another time where I was out studying, and my roommate was in our room, and she was like watching Netflix, and my Wii remote was pushed off of my desk, and it like landed on the floor, and like the batteries popped out and everything. And she like called me like freaking out. She was like, I was just laying on my bed watching Netflix, and your freaking Wii remote just flew off the desk and onto the ground.
So it's all happened to her. That's
Kind of. It's just it's more convenient wise, I think.
okay.
But then again, like because there's all these theories about like spirits latching on to people, and you know, especially if that person has like a weaker, I don't want to say like faith, but like, or like a weaker will, but you know, the theory is that they prey off of fear and stuff like that, and which again is like what demons do, is they prey off of fear. But I don't know. It's crazy. Things still occasionally happen, like I said with the whole chapstick thing, that it's just like completely unexplained, and I'm just like, what in the world, you know? But
Unexplainable.
right. And even though all this stuff keeps happening to me, and I've heard this stuff, I still would not say that I believe in ghosts or anything like that.
Yeah, see, it's stuff like this that makes me question, like, what's going on. Like,
Right.
because I haven't personally had this experience, but like, I obviously believe you. Like, you've seen these things happen. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm not a super.
And I hope one day you guys like
You're a little
do
suspicious.
get to experience something like that though, because it is one of those things, like if I was one of you guys and I was sitting listening to somebody tell this kind of stuff, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. But then again, did it happen? Like I'm not there. Maybe there was a rational explanation for this,
That's the thing. That's always the possibility.
Right. I mean, like my one friend, I have another friend who heard the recording and he just can't accept the fact that something could be out there.
Yeah.
I always give him crap because he was like, oh, well, it's just convenient background noise. And I'm like, convenient background noise that happens to respond to exactly what I'm saying,
Clearly
Right.
Respond.
It's like clearly,
A little more than convenient.
Yeah.
right. It's just crazy. That kind of stuff fascinates me. It always has, and especially more so. But of course, like, I don't want to get involved in all this stuff that could be potentially harmful. But I don't know. It's crazy stuff. The world is a crazy place, and we don't understand anything.
That's very true. I think that's the best bullet point you could put on all of it. We really don't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm. The audio was like pretty convincing, I guess. Like I didn't see what you like said it was supposed to say before I listened to it. So when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh, he said, are you sure?" And then I looked at the conversation, and it was like, "Yeah, that's what you said." He said. So, I mean, I it was weird for sure, but it's still one of those things. Like I have to experience it myself to believe it.
And it
Yeah,
also could be
100%.
one of those things like you told us what it was supposed to say, and so that's what we heard.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. Because at first I didn't have it, like the volume
Mhm.
high enough, so I read what she said, what
Yeah.
the voice said, so I didn't know if like I actually heard that or if in my mind I just heard it,
Yeah,
But I
and
didn't.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I
didn't-
couldn't understand it until I actually read the thing back again, and then I was I knew what to look for, and then I was like, oh, okay, then I clearly hear it. So it could just be in our freaking minds. Who knows?
We're just all
and that is a
crazy.
very real possibility. But like I have, like even my brother last night, I made my brother listen to it, and he was like, this is stupid. It's not real. Before I even played it for him, and then I played it for him, and he was like, his attitude completely changed. He was like, wait, play that again, and I played it for him again, and he was like, are they saying, are you sure about that? Like I didn't tell him or anything, and I was
no.
like, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a proof.
I don't know about proof, but it's the closest we're gonna get.
Yeah,
that's-
I mean, it's just crazy stuff, but it's interesting to me. I like thinking about things that
You can't
we don't
explain.
understand,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's a hard brain exercise because we can't rationalize it, but then we try.
And then end up going nowhere with it.
Going nowhere, we're just coming up with crazy theories.
Yep.
But yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Yep, it is.
So I'm gonna move on to mine now. So we could probably get through this one pretty quick. I just wanted to talk about sexism in pop culture and how there's been a lot of negative backlash to like the recent like almost renaissance of female protagonists in like shows and movies and games and whatever else. It's still a very small, I think, group of people, but like when the first story trailer for Battlefront 2 came out, there was a response from a certain group of people that was very against having a female lead in a like a military like Star Wars project, and saying how like how women aren't as strong as men and can't be soldiers and like all like this stereotypical sexist stuff, and how it's like feminism trying to infect our precious Star Wars or whatever. And then just recently when BBC announced the new Doctor for Doctor Who, there was one of the former doctors said it was a loss of a role model for boys, because somehow
What
a
the
woman
hell?
Oh, wow.
can't be a role model. So I just kind of wanted to talk about like what you guys thought of this. Like, are there studios pandering to quote unquote feminism? Is it just fiction catching up to where it needed to be with like the years and years and years of exclusively male protagonists almost? Or is it just somewhere in the middle where it's a non-issue and that we should just move on and it's really no big deal? It should be happening this way. So what do you guys think about it?
Where I take issue is when it interferes with someone's creativity. You know, like Ubisoft or someone. Well, they have an agenda. You know, so they're like,
is
you
pretty
have
clear. Like they put
Really?
they put a transgender person in I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and they really didn't serve any kind of purpose in the story other than just simply being a transgender person. So that's kind of where I had take issue with, and a lot of with what Marvel is doing with their books. They're casting the widest net possible with all their characters and kind of turning characters that we already know into like different ethnicities or sexualities, and I really have no problem with that. But diversity for diversity's sake, I don't want to say it's a problem, but it just comes off ungenuine to me. And I really don't have any problem with female leads. Like I have no problem at all. Like I think like Iden Versio in Star Wars Battlefront is gonna be an awesome character, and I really like Rey, and I really like Jin in Star Wars, and they're saying how like because we have 3 movies with female lead characters, but we have like 6 with a male lead, so it's not even close to overcoming.
like I think it's totally fine. You know, put as many women in your game as you want. Like it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like if you know a big corporation's telling you to put in a female lead just for the sake of that. I don't agree with it because it should be driven by creativity, not by whatever is politically correct at the time.
Absolutely.
So that's what I see. Like, and then this one chick, I'm sure you've heard of her, Anita Sarkeesian.
Yep.
Oh man, she makes me so mad. It's just her whole thing. That one of her first talking points was on the damsel in distress. She brought up Mario and Peach.
That what really like got her.
Yeah, because the fucked up thing about that is like that the whole damsel in distress. That's like the root of all storytelling. That's been here since the beginning of time. And she's going in and saying that it's making Peach look like an object and whatnot. It's like, come on, that's just storytelling. Like you're just cherry picking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's
like,
Mario.
You're finding stuff that's not there.
It's Mario. Like it's like the story only exists to justify the gameplay of going straight forward toward a goal. Like it's such unimportant to what Mario is, which is gameplay. And yeah, like Peach,
and that's like the original Mario too.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
There was no real story other than you're saving her. Like in later Marios, you're playing as Peach and stuff. Like
yeah. Now she's an athlete. She's all these other things. Like it's not even an example. Like what really bothered me about Sarkeesian is I watched one of her videos and she basically was calling out the disparaging between male and female attire in games, and she basically said Batman was sexist because his cape covered his ass, and Catwoman was wearing like a skin tight leather or whatever. So and I try to give her points the time of day or whatever, but just little stuff like that. Like she just, for every good point she makes like 3 or 4 bad ones that just cannot be held up to any kind of legitimacy. And I feel like she's in general just kind of doing a disservice to the feminist movement because she's clearly agenda driven. Like I really do not believe she cares about games enough.
No, she doesn't.
It just feels so ingenuine to me, and like that's what bothers me is when it's agenda driven or it just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, I heard Anita Sarkeesian. They're gonna have her on the team making was it a Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
Oh yeah.
And then you remember hearing about that?
Yeah, look how that turned out.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it didn't matter.
Well, she wasn't put on the team because everyone was so pissed off. Like why would you put her there?
Yeah.
But I'm so glad because it would just be her driving her own agenda and all that.
And that's a great example of a good female lead in a game. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
she's
Like
awesome.
she's gonna go in there and ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, and she also got mad about when the Doctor Who casting was announced. She was mad that that the actress wasn't transgender or black. It's like, well, one, we're already making strides with having a predominantly male character being female. Like, she's never happy. Like, she always looks for things to get mad about, and that's another thing that bothers me is people that get offended for the sake of getting offended. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because it's just there's a very small but vocal group of people that are very much against female-led projects, like games. Like a lot of people that are not.
I think it's really
Battlefront.
refreshing.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, and like there's not.
Yeah,
I saw people who is not going to buy Battlefront because of the female lead character.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. Like you're gonna like people that don't buy games with female led characters. It's like, all right, you're gonna miss out on Tomb Raider, you're gonna miss out on Horizon, you're gonna miss out on The Last of Us, you're gonna miss out on masterpieces, and that's your fault because you're like closed minded and insecure about yourself. Like that's really the only way I could see it.
Yeah.
I thought Wonder Woman was, really refreshing, because the director, she's a female, and I felt like, I felt like she, like,
That's why the movie's also doing really well. It's like so much, like, like all the, like, tons of women are actually going to see this because, they are being represented and they're happy that they're finally being represented.
In a positive light, not a forced and genuine light. Like,
yeah.
Like, I felt like, in the, earlier Marvel movies, like Iron Man 2, I felt like they really over-sexualized Black Widow.
She's also a sexual character, though. Like, a lot of those spy characters, like, that's part of their, what makes
part of
them
her persona.
Effective. Yeah. Like, same with Catwoman in the Batman example.
Well, I don't know. At the same time, you could just say she's being sexualized to be sexualized,
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Age of Ultron. Like, she was not sexualized really at all. She wanted a real relationship, because she had like a really messed up past. Like, you can have characters that have certain aspects, like she uses her sexuality. Like, look at Avengers 1, she's using her sexuality, and when they first introduce her, when she's like captured by like those Russian guys,
Yeah.
Like that,
It's a great scene.
tight dress and whatever. And then look at Avengers 2, there's like pretty much zero sexuality with her character. Like, there can be many aspects to these people,
It's like they can have depth. Like, they can be, comfortable and outwardly sexual and be comfortable with their sexuality and not just not be their predominant characteristic. Like, yeah, like Black Widow is a good example because, yeah, she does use her sexuality, but she has depth and she has motivations. And with Avengers 2, like, she was like flirting with Hulk, but like, yeah, she wanted a real relationship. And I thought that whole thing, that kind of pairing was weird, but they tried.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort. Try to make things interesting. But yeah.
Yep, A for effort.
A for effort. Yeah, we might have to return to this, like, maybe after Battlefront has come out and, like, see it, like, if it really had any impact on the story and if whether or not, her character was worth it. But yeah, I just that's something that always bothered me is that this outcry of, like, anti-female characters. But let me see.
I find it really fascinating. Me, myself, being a female.
Yes.
Especially growing up, there weren't that many. I mean, like, I look at Star Wars and I look at Princess Leia. And, back then, everyone's like, oh, well, every girl's favorite Star Wars character just has to be Princess Leia, right? Never was for me. I always loved Luke Skywalker. And I never thought or ever was like, wow, there's not, women are not being represented fairly or anything. I just didn't think about it. What I did find interesting, though, is in a lot of those, like, stereotypical movies, there's always the bad guy character, and it's always a blonde woman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, if you want, like, a bad female character, that's the template.
Right. And it sucked for me because like I'm blonde and I remember like, but I never even picked up on that until one day my mom was like, we were watching like Camp Rock or something like really stupid. And my mom was like laughing and she was like, have you ever noticed that like in all of these kinds of movies, the bad guy is always a blonde woman? You know, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're
Good
totally right.
That's a good point.
And so I love the fact that, I love the fact that Ray and Jin and this new character in Battlefront, like I know they're such strong characters and I can't wait. And I hope it does change a lot of these closed-minded minds per se that are just like, oh, well, you can't have a female be in the military or anything like that.
And you're
And
from the Midwest, and I notice people over there are more closed-minded compared to Western part of the United States. So I don't know.
for certain things, oh, for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely. The Midwest is very conservative, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I also cannot stand when, exactly like you guys were talking earlier, where they make somebody gay just for the fact of making somebody gay, or making the lead person a female just to make them a female. If there's no, I don't agree with that because it's just they're trying to cater to these people that are gonna be offended no matter what you do.
Exactly.
So there's nothing you can really do about it. Some of these people that are feminists are
Quote,
right. They're like, oh, well, we want equality. When in reality, they don't want equality. They want women's superiority.
men are trash, men are pigs.
Right.
All
I
the
sit
above.
back and I'm just like,
I
how can
mean,
you say you want equality when you put men down? That's not equality.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
this thing. It was like, I think it was like a Tinder profile where she was like, if you do not agree with the phrase "men are trash," swipe left. If you do not think
What the hell?
if you do not think women are vastly superior, swipe left. Like all this stuff, like basically like the textbook stereotypical quote unquote hyper feminazi, whatever you want to say. It was just so funny. It's like no one's ever gonna like try to contact you whatsoever because you're the prime example of what not to do.
Like the one woman who got like killed in Call of Duty online by like a male and is like trying to charge him with like rape
Oh,
or
that's
sexual
that's
harassment or
like,
something.
are you serious? People like that happens way too often. Like you hear about stuff like that. It's like people like just like saying like hi to somebody and they blow it completely out of proportion and say like they were like sexually harassed. It's like, what are you talking about? Like nobody even touched you. Yeah, and then like across like games, it's like they're like trying to like get the game like removed or whatever because of this experience. It's like you're so twisted in your own beliefs that you've just completely lost like any grip on how things actually work.
Sure.
It frustrates me. It's I feel like it's something that we're gonna have to deal with for a while until people
Oh yeah,
come to their senses.
because
Hopefully.
people are stupid. I mean, they just are. That's something that's always going to be an issue. Racism is always going to be a thing. Sexism is always going to be a thing, and it's going to go both ways all the time.
Absolutely. And even like the people who are, who get, quote unquote outrage culture that, get mad when they see people, being offended. Like they're almost just as hyperbolic as the people that they're responding to, which I always found interesting. I think Alana from IGN had a good video on her own channel about that, like outrage culture. I highly recommend checking that out. Just kind of like laying out just how hyperbolic both sides are. Like both sides are just as crazy in every situation. They're both as out there.
yeah, just like living in a pretty liberal area and going to a pretty liberal school. I gotta say, yeah, it gets pretty hyperbolic on both sides. I mean, like the people here, like I haven't taken too many like women gender studies courses or anything, but like I've taken plenty of like Africana studies and stuff.
Okay.
So whenever like someone that's not black is in the class, they kind of have a little time to like they take a little time to like get into figuring out what the experience is. And it sucks because a lot of times they just get ripped to shreds, like because they don't know what like black experience is, and
You don't know my story.
rather than like helping and explaining and teaching, like it's just like an attack of like 50 people on one,
Yeah, that's a really good
And
point.
I kind of see that like not just with like racism and stuff, but like sexism too. It's I can't really speak on like behalf of women, but as a black person, I kind of see like similarities.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I feel like if everyone was more willing and open to teach each other about their differences, there would be a lot less problems in the world.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's something like just as a species we struggle with. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Get Out?
I want to.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
fantastic.
So that movie, it made me really. It taught me a lesson. Like, I might be saying like some backhanded, comment that would come off racist, even though I wouldn't mean it for it to come off that way. Like, that part where he's being introduced to like her family and all that, and the guy is like, "Oh, do you like golf? I like Tiger Woods," and the guy's like, "What the
Right.
hell?" Like,
Yep.
just saying shit like that. I'm like, "Fuck, I really need to watch it." Like, even though people don't mean it, fuck,
Yeah, we do it
it can
subconsciously.
come off totally racist.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I need to go see that movie. Really.
Yeah, it's an eye opener to me.
There's just been too many good films. We're gonna go see Dunkirk after recording this.
Hell yeah. Nolan hype.
No one hype. Max, you got anything?
You there, Max?
Yeah. So I want to talk about brand loyalty and if like what brands you're loyal to and like how that came to be, and if maybe like the way you grew up kind of shaped that. So for me, I'm loyal to PlayStation. I've never owned, Xbox or whatever, and that's because when I was young, as I said earlier, I went to my neighbor's house and we played the first original PlayStation and PlayStation 2. And then like I was already in that ecosystem now. And then when PS3 and Xbox 360 came out, because I couldn't play like the gun games, and that's kind of like what Xbox is known for.
Yeah, Gears and Halo.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stick with PlayStation. So PlayStation 3 came out, and I got that. And now with PlayStation 4, it's like a no-brainer. Now it's just like secondhand nature. I'm like all in for Sony PlayStation.
Yeah, I think there's an important distinction between like brand loyalty and then like brand tribalism, which you often see online a lot with people. Like let's say just for example, like let's say like like when Bloodborne came out, and a bunch of like really like like hyperbolic Xbox fans like chastise the PS4 for having this game that they don't have. Like there's these people that just gang up on the other side on almost on behalf of the company, where that's where it gets unhealthy. Like yeah, you can like having a preference, like that's like we all do, but there are people that just
straight up hate the other side.
Straight up hate the other side, like they have some kind of skin in the game. Like they like.
Well, they're like fighting for a corporation that doesn't give a fuck about them.
Give a fuck what they have to say about the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you're just free advertising for us, but other than that, like, screw you. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's where it gets dangerous. But yeah, I think it's totally fine to have like preferences and be loyal to brands and stick with ecosystems. I'm some of my earliest gaming memories were with PlayStation, but when the Xbox came out, I love Halo. A lot of the the Xbox franchises I really love. I was actually predominantly on the 360 side last generation because my PS3 broke, and while watching Tron Legacy, Rest in peace.
Rip.
That giant, just bulbous machine with the Spider-Man
Big
font.
sexy beast.
But yeah, so I missed out. Like I missed out on most of the good stuff. I missed out on Infamous. I missed out on Uncharted. I got missed up on a lot of stuff until I rebought one like later on in the generation, right before the PS4 was about to come out. So I played all these great games that I wish I had earlier. But yeah, like, and now I'm like almost all in on the PS4. So it just things shift. Like but as long as you don't like you said, like as long as you don't like fight for, the approval of this corporation, like it's all good, like it's all in good fun, and we like what we like, and there's really no harm in that.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of on the same page as Max. Like, yeah, I side more with PlayStation, but that's like just my preferred way of playing. Like, I also have an Xbox One and a PC, but I don't know, PS4 is just the way to go. Like, it's so easy and intuitive to me to just pop in a game on my PS4 and pull it up and go into it and play. Whereas like PS or Xbox One, I'm not used to the UI and all that, so it's kind of clunky and that it's not my thing. And then going on to PC, like I have to sit up straight and all this. I can't recline back in my chair and chill out. I use both hands, and yeah, it's not my thing. But yeah, overall, PlayStation is what I side with.
For
Yeah.
me, like,
Okay.
for me, in terms of consoles, it's weird because I've always owned both Xbox and PlayStation. I still own every Xbox and PlayStation. My first console I ever had was a PS2, and that's still my favorite console of all time. But I had the PS2, and then like a year or two later, my brother got the Xbox, and for me, I didn't care. I played the games that I had on Xbox, I played on Xbox, and the games I had on PS2, I played on PS2. And I remember trying to decide, like when I was ready to upgrade to next gen, which was really last gen, I was like, should I get a PS3 or should I get an Xbox 360? And I ended up going with the 360. The majority of my friends had it. I do love Halo, but I was like sad. I was like, man, like I love PlayStation so much. And then of course I got my PS4 before my Xbox One, and I love both of them. They're both amazing in their own way. I prefer one thing, other people prefer the other. I love my Xbox because I can pop in my old games and play them, and I love the PlayStation because their exclusives are far superior
Damn right.
to what's on Xbox.
Xbox technically doesn't have any exclusives now. It's on PC.
So, like, I don't really have a I have a preferred, but well, I really don't actually, because I love them both, and
Yeah.
but I definitely 100% have a brand loyalty to Call of Duty, and
Mhm.
a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it. Even the past like 3 Call of Duty games I have absolutely hated, but I've bought them day one every single time, even though I know that I'm not going to like it.
That's a good point.
And I don't know why. I just do. I think it's nostalgia factor for me, maybe, just because I've been playing those games. I've played every single Call of Duty that's ever been released. I still own every single Call of Duty that's ever been released. And that totally is like just a brand loyalty thing for me. No matter how crappy the game will be, I will always buy it. And I'm that way with Halo too.
So no matter how many times it burns you, you'll still buy it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's like an abusive relationship with Call of Duty.
See, I didn't think about like specific games, but I guess I'm kind of that way with some developers. Like, I will always buy BioWare games. I will always buy Kojima Productions games. Honestly, yeah, probably buy all Rocksteady games going forward, even though it's not going to be Batman. Except BioWare kind of burned me with Andromeda, so I don't know how I feel about them. See, that's kind of how I feel about in terms of maybe not specific games, but developers or maybe like series. Like, I'm pretty much a diehard Metal Gear fan. And even though like 5 was disappointing in some areas, like I bought it day one. Like there was no question of that. And even with Andromeda, like I got the deluxe edition. Like I love those games. I'm going to support them. But yeah, there's just you got to walk a fine line. Like you said, like I don't know if I'd have the same patience being burned time and time after again with you say with Call of Duty, but there's like this subconscious like reaction to like, yeah, I'm going to pre-order this game day one from this developer, from this series or whatever. So I didn't really think about that from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll say I wouldn't say I'm loyal to PlayStation, but I've never owned an Xbox. It's just because like I had a PS1 when I was a kid, I had a PS2 when I was a kid, and those came out before Xbox even existed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just like kept following, and like my cousin had a PS3, so I played Resistance for the first time when I was like really little. I was like,
Yeah.
I need to get this game, so I got a PS3. And then just kept following on. But I mean, I've played Xbox. I don't have anything against it.
Yeah.
Nothing against anyone else.
There's so many people out there that like only own PlayStation, and they're like such hardcore PlayStation fanboys, and they like trash talk the Xbox and like trash talk people that play Xbox. And I'm just like, you can't really have a super valid opinion when you've
Yeah,
never
your argument's invalid.
right, like when you've
Exactly.
You don't
never
own something.
owned, let alone
Yeah.
even played sometimes.
And
this
at
thing.
the end of the day, they're all video games, Like, we're all the
Right.
same team here. Why does it matter what stupid black box you play it on? It's all the same damn thing.
Yeah, especially like the second you insult somebody for owning a different black box, your argument is completely invalidated. To me.
Yeah.
Like that's
Your
just
piece of plastic isn't as good as my piece of
it's
plastic.
over. Even though my piece of plastic plays way better games.
And mine have more P's and more pixels.
Yeah, like with the pixels thing, it's like if you play an Xbox and a PS4 next to each other, like you're not gonna barely even notice the difference.
I can't tell the difference between 720p and 1080p.
Me neither.
Yeah,
That
Unless-
stuff means nothing to me.
So the only way I can tell if it's right next to each other, but even then, it's just such a slight difference.
yeah, especially with the upscaling on the Xbox One, but. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
it's just such minor stuff that people get in like fanboy wars about. It just makes me laugh now at this point. Like, I used to get frustrated by it, but now I just laugh it off because like these people, like you just come on, move on, like get some more actual problems to think about.
Yeah, exactly. Like grow up, become an adult, get some real problems. Don't make up your own.
Yeah,
I
And
feel
do
like
you guys have any brand loyalty like outside of gaming? Like for me, I like Adidas over Nike, and
Is
I
that
think
how you
that's
say
just
it?
because
Pronounce
Because
it
they're
like an
German?
American, please.
yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Adidas.
Adidas.
No, it's Adidas.
That's so
because
weird.
it's like
Oh,
It actually
German.
legitimately is.
Are you
that's how Hitler would pronounce it.
wow.
So like I think it's because like I'm German, and like I was like, since I'm German, I was like already in, like Adidas is like all over Germany, right? So
Okay.
I was just in there, and like I had until like this vacation that I just took, I had a Nike bag, but I specifically went out of my way to get an Adidas bag just because I wanted to match, because I wear like Adidas shoes, Adidas socks, and Adidas sweats. So like, I don't know, is it kind of just weird that I'm like so hardcore
No.
with
I consider
Adidas,
it a match.
or like, do you guys have like other examples where you would go out of your way and
Yeah, I have something similar. So I really like Vans shoes. Like
Same.
ever since I bought my first pair of Vans, that's all I've worn. Like I don't know how many pairs of Vans I have now, but like at Ross, I get my discount and I'll see a pair of Vans that I like and I'll go and buy them because 20% off. So screw it.
I grew up wearing Converse, so that's kind of what I've stuck with. So that's, I guess, yeah, that is kind of a kind of brand loyalty because that's just what I look for. Yeah, there's just so many things. Like we could just go down just like everything we own in our lives, and there's going to be some kind of pattern.
I guess it also like, I think it's also like a big factor is how you like were raised
Absolutely.
and like
Yeah.
like how like your parents influenced what you got, and then you kind of just stick with it.
Yeah, because people don't like change.
Oh,
Yeah.
The biggest one for me is probably Chevy.
Chevy.
Oh, cars.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother
no, it's
one.
crazy.
Interesting.
Like it's actually crazy, and I know that it makes zero sense, but like it's still something that's like a very big thing for me. I only drive Chevy cars. Um,
Wow.
I know my favorite car of all time, like my dream car, is a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. And I've loved that car ever since I was a kid. My first car was a Chevy. The car I drive now is a Chevy. So, like, in my mind, I was just like, oh, I love all these Chevys. I've only ever owned Chevys. So, therefore, I will only ever own Chevys.
So if someone like offered you like a really expensive car for free, like, and it wasn't a Chevy, would you not take it?
That's the thing. Like, right now, for me, it's easy for me to say, like, oh, well, I'll only ever own Chevy cars. But I guarantee you down the line, there will be a time where I own a car that's not a Chevy.
Yeah.
But
I guess with cars, I never really had a preference. Like, I drive a Ford Crown Vic right now, but like, I don't know. I'm not really a big car guy. But
You a cop?
people ask me that every freaking day, and I'm going to lose my mind. But anyway, some guy asked me if I was a bounty hunter one time. That was my favorite.
Oh, what? That's sick.
I was in McDonald's, and this like 12-year-old kid was at the cash register. I don't know how they let him work. And he's like, hey, dude, are you a bounty hunter? My uncle is one, and he has a Crown Vic. I'm like, no, kid, dude, look at me. Like, look at me.
Do I look like someone who could do that?
Yeah. Am I packing heat in my car? No. But yeah, just I guess with cars, I don't really have one. That's kind of one area of my life where I really don't have brand loyalty.
Yeah, for me, as long as it gets me from point A to point B, like I don't care. It doesn't matter. They all do the same thing.
Yeah. So I guess we all have like biases in like which areas we like to refer to. Yeah, this is an interesting topic because it's like so many aspects of our possessions and how we live our lives is influenced by the different brands or whatever. It's kind of crazy to think about now that I'm like going through the list in my head. I can't really think of anything to stand out.
And
When
then,
I think brand loyalty, I immediately go to like Coke because Coca-Cola is
man, there's so many.
so superior over Pepsi, Sprite, superior
Nah,
over
fam.
Sierra Mist.
yep, definitely.
I mean,
Dr. Pepper's
They don't
better
have
than
good
all of
root
them,
beer.
but just saying.
I don't know, Dr. Pibb. It can
Mr. Pibb, it ain't no doctor like the Pepper.
Mr. Pibb, yeah.
Is it Mr. Pibb? Okay, I don't know. For me, like it can hold its own. It's not
It's
the
good.
same as
It's
Dr.
good.
Pepper.
It's good
but
enough.
Yeah, it's good.
Man, we should...
Pepsi is trash though.
Yeah, Pepsi's battery
I
acid
love
in your mouth.
Pepsi.
It's good. I don't think it's trash. I definitely, if someone was going to put a Coke or a Pepsi in front of me, I'd definitely opt for the Coke 9 out of 10 times. But every once in a while, a Pepsi's really good. Like, just something about it.
I was served Pepsi once when I asked for Coke, and it ruined my entire
See,
meal.
no, do not even mess around with that. If I ask
It's the same thing.
tell me that you don't have Coke, do not bring me a Pepsi,
Yeah.
or vice versa. Like, if I'm feeling like a Pepsi, do not bring me a Coke. Like, they're different. Like, we need to establish just the server-customer relationship right off the bat. Do you have Coke or Pepsi products? That is very important to me. I will not be betrayed. That's all I can say about it.
Real question here though. Have any of you guys ever taken a big swig of Sprite when you thought it was water? Because that is the worst.
I feel like
I don't
Like
think
flat
No.
Sprite.
even just in like general, like if you pick up something expecting a different taste and then it's not what you think it is, your brain kind of like freaks out for a second. But I haven't had that specific.
Yeah, it's like a shock factor.
I want to try it now, just for the heck of it.
Try it.
Convince
Just
myself
forget
it's
you
water.
poured Sprite.
I forget easily. It wouldn't be that hard. Yeah, that's really interesting. We could go all day on this one. Just
Yeah, we could. One brand loyalty thing I had was, I wouldn't watch DC movies. I'm like, I'm just a Marvel fanboy. I'm never
Batman
gonna
v
watch,
Superman's a good movie.
But for the longest time, I wouldn't watch The Dark Knight.
What?
Oh no, I can't. Yeah, I
You
know.
wouldn't
What?
watch the
I
Dark
wouldn't watch it.
Knight.
On purpose.
Crazy.
Yeah. I know. I was so stupid,
Oh
and then I
my
finally
God.
watched it. I'm like, what have
the
I been
hell?
doing?
Oh.
No, like I totally get that though, because I was the exact same way with like the Lord of the Rings movies, because it was such this clash in culture between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and I'm like, even though they are completely different, like completely different.
Yeah,
They are.
I would compare Star Wars more to something like Lord of the Rings. It is like Star Wars is fantasy, like it's not science fiction. So I could see that comparison made, but yeah, they're very different.
I love Star Wars way too much. The Lord of the Rings movies are still enjoyable for me. But the thing with them is like I've seen all those movies like 3 times at least, and I can't tell you a damn thing that happens in any of them.
I could go through the whole damn thing right now.
See, like I could literally like watch a movie from beginning to end, and you could ask me right after it, tell me what just happened, and I couldn't tell you.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but like I can't. It just doesn't click with me for some reason.
I feel like the Lord of the Rings are objectively better than movies than Star Wars, but I still prefer like Star Wars' like world and universe, even though Tolkien's a genius.
Yeah. And
like,
I mean,
not to take out
if you look
anything
at but the OT, the original Star Wars trilogy came out, way long ago. I mean, if those movies were to have been made today, like the same movie but with today's type of things, I don't know. I think more people would like
You get the
Star Wars.
Force
yeah,
Awakens.
as I say, you get
Yeah,
Force
that's
Awakens.
pretty much what the Force Awakens was.
I'm fine with that. Like, I feel like the Force Awakens got a lot of flack for that, but at the same time, I feel like it needed to be like tackled into the right direction. So I feel like it was kind
I
of worth
agree.
it. So we should.
I didn't.
What?
I'm just saying, I didn't think it was. I didn't see all these issues. I mean, I saw the issues that people were saying, but I guess it just didn't really bother me.
Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of refreshing. It was nice to have that kind of Star Wars again.
Absolutely. We should do a whole
Yeah, I
topic on
still
Yeah.
can't believe it.
This is like a really good topic that we could do.
Yeah, let's save
In the
it because
future.
that could be its own show. But
Yeah, it could be.
anything else on brand loyalty? I can't think of anything.
I think that's all.
I love Star Wars. I don't give a damn about Star Trek.
What about the newer
Apples and
movies?
oranges. Apples and oranges.
Yeah, they're not really the same thing
I
at
don't
all.
understand any of the
Space.
comparisons. Space. That's literally it. They're both completely different.
That's all they have in
Star Wars
common.
is fantasy.
Star.
I
Yeah, the
enjoy.
star.
I enjoy like the universe of Star Trek, but I don't necessarily like. I cannot get into the TV show. I might try to watch the new one, the new TV show that's like coming out.
That actually
I'll
looks
give it a
decent.
chance.
That looks
Yeah, I'll give it a chance, but I don't know. I just I like the universe, but not necessarily like
Yeah, we're in
the movies.
Yeah, we're in the wrong generation of Star Trek. Like it captivated like our parents' generation.
Yeah, my dad loves Next Generation.
Same.
Yeah, I actually really like the Next Generation. Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite where I kind of like the idea of Star Trek, but I don't really care for the universe too much. I have to like read more into it because it's so deep. That might be another topic too.
Yep.
Anything else?
Think we're good.
All right, Elijah, what's yours?
So, I already talked about this a little bit with the brand loyalty thing, but sugar. I love sugar. I love soda. I love candy. All that stuff. I just want to know what's your thoughts like on sugary stuff. Sugar. More specifically, sugar versus caffeine. Like, where do you get your energy from, preferably?
I get my energy from self-hatred because I don't drink coffee. And
I don't drink coffee either.
I'm trying.
Me
to,
neither.
I'm trying to cut sugar completely. Like, not completely, but I'm trying to significantly cut sugar, especially from like sodas and stuff. So it's kind of like the secret. It hides in everything. It's like it just
You can't really get away
you
from
can't
sugar.
Get away from it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like
It's
you
in
can try to
ketchup.
cut it. You can try to cut it as much as you can, but no matter what you do, it's gonna be in every tiny little thing that you like. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a-
milk has a lot of sugar.
Yeah, and I love milk more than almost anything on this planet. But it's an uphill battle that you're never gonna win.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me.
What-
That's why
Sugar
you
makes me
embrace it.
depressed. Sugar makes me depressed because I can't run away. That's
When I was younger, there was pretty much almost no sugar in the house. My parents were those type of people. Oh, no sugar in the house. But when I moved out, now it's just like, oh, I want to eat sugar all the time because I couldn't have it when I was younger. Whereas I feel like if I had grown up with it, I wouldn't be as addicted to it as I am now.
That's a good point. It's
Like,
almost
it's just-
counterproductive. Like keeping it away.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's like goes into the whole parenting thing. Like, for me, it feels like it has to be like a happy medium. Like, you have to be, informed why it's bad, but you can't just take it away completely,
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then like I've also had like a problem like with my teeth because I have a like slight like gingivitis, so I really have to brush my teeth and stay away from the sugar. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay away from it. It's not good for you.
I found Oreos in the house last night, and it was a problem. I ate a whole bunch of them.
My mom actually had this big tub of cookies, and I was like starving once I got home from work, and she literally like took it out. She was like, I didn't want you to know that we had them because I didn't want you to eat them all. And she just brought out like this big tub of cookies, and I was like, yes, but since then I've eaten like 10 of them. So
I mean, she might have a point.
right. But like it actually same kind of thing, Micah, with like my parents, like we weren't allowed to have like any of like the sugary cereal. So like
Yeah.
I loved the cereal cookies, which was literally like awful. Like they're not even good. And like once in a blue moon, my dad would get Captain Crunch and the box would be gone in a day because
Yeah.
everybody would eat it.
Bless Captain Crunch.
But I just recently, like 2 days ago, went camping and we were at Walmart and we were like, what should we get? And I saw those little, those little plastic Kool-Aid bottles that you twist the cap off.
Oh
like
yeah.
Right. And I just looked at them and I remembered loving them so much as a kid, but my mom would never let me get them. So I was like, heck yes, we're getting this. So I got it and then I drank it and it was so disappointing.
Oh.
I was like, this is not good because I hyped it up in my head to be like the best drink ever.
Because when you're a kid, like everything's the best. You try it once, like, oh, this is amazing, and then your nostalgia just clouds your judgment.
Right. I mean, I still love. I don't know what it's. This drink is called different. It's called like a different thing in each like area, but it's like commonly known as like bug juice.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I
about.
know
Exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
It's commonly known as bug juice, even though the brand bug juice isn't even what I drink. I drink like the gas station that's really big here is Quick Trip, and their brand of bug juice is called Jabberberry, but it's literally the same exact thing. And I am still to this day addicted to that stuff. And like people make fun of me because it's like a little kid's drink, but I'm like, I don't care. Like
Aren't
stuff
those
is
the
good.
little drinks? Like they come in like a little tiny plastic
Yeah, they're like
bottle?
a little tiny
Oh,
plastic
okay.
bottle
Yeah.
with the cap you pop up.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Over here, I think they call them like hogwash or something like that. Or
Ew.
That doesn't
Is that-
sound delicious.
That sounds
Yeah.
worse than bug juice.
I
somehow.
know.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's hogwash. There's like a little pig on it. It's a little flavored drink.
I don't want to
See
think
little
about
kids
that
buying
smell.
those all the time.
Oh gosh. I need to go like.
But,
drink
like,
some
my
water
mom-
to get that-
My mom would like never let me get that drink, or she'd always give me crap for getting that drink. But like I compared like the sugar to like that to Coke, and it has less sugar than Coke. Like
cocaine
soda,
or Coke.
All right.
Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Come on
Come
now.
on.
But soda is way worse for you than like people really think.
Then almost
Or people-
anything.
It's
Right?
pretty
People
bad, yeah.
people will be like, yeah, soda's bad for you, but like it really, really,
Really
is bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I cut it out, or I cut it off when I got into university. I stopped basically drinking it because I used to drink it all the time in like high school or whatever. We go out to restaurants, I'd always have 2 big glasses of Sprite. But then when I got to university, I was like, I need to stop because it's bad. And ever since then, I started drinking a lot of water.
Well, that's the thing about soda. It's so easy to drink a lot of it, and you're just taking so much sugar in, and then that just turns into fat, and you're just
Yeah.
gonna end up screwing yourself in the end.
Story of my life.
Yeah, I stopped drinking soda when I was in high school, and after I graduated, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself. I'm an adult now. Let me start drinking soda again. And the whole freshman 15 thing, I attributed most of my 30 pounds gained my freshman year to drinking soda again.
Oh my god.
It was pretty bad, so I'm really trying to cut down.
It's a struggle. It's really hard.
Nothing.
It's I believe someone said, I don't quote me on this, but it's like it's actually harder than quitting smoking. Like stopping.
Yeah,
soda
don't doubt it.
altogether. Yeah, it's
Well, yeah, I mean, sugar and caffeine are both extremely addictive.
a dynamic duo of shame. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a drug, literally.
oh yeah, caffeine is a drug.
And I think people like drink soda and they don't necessarily think of like, like when people eat a lot or they eat like crap, they're like, oh, I can't eat this because it'll make me gain weight. But they're like chugging the soda. And like, that's almost the same thing.
Or
You
worse.
still get right. Like you're just, instead of eating your body weight, you're drinking it.
Yeah, because at least food has like nutritional value, whereas soda, it's literally just sugar.
You need none of that.
Nope, no.
It doesn't even.
I've gotten a lot better at not drinking soda, but it's all for kind of nothing because now I'm like addicted to fruit punch, which is like just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah,
Right? I know.
Pure sugar and water. And dye.
It's funny whenever I've looked at one of those bottles of Coca-Cola or whatever, it'll say, oh, it only has this much sugar, but then you look up at the serving size and it's like, oh, there's
Right.
3 servings in here, so it's like 3 times 50. You
Right,
know?
you'd have to drink like a teaspoon.
There's so many people that disregard the serving size. They're like, oh, it's only 180 calories. It's like, no, it's got 4
Yeah.
servings in there, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like they do that to trick you.
Oh, absolutely. They're like, oh, I'm eating healthy. 5 servings.
Nope.
I can't remember. I was like really craving chocolate milk one day. I don't know why. And then I went into the gas station and got like a pretty big container of it. And then you look at the nutrition label, and it's like, oh, it's got 300 calories or whatever across 4 servings. And it's just you get so much sugar and so many calories from it. And yeah, it's absolutely deceptive for people who just look at it and like, oh, okay, yeah, sugar's evil. Except it's also the best thing.
Sugar's great.
Shut up to sugar.
I used to put straight up sugar like all over my cereal.
I still do.
Cheerios.
Oh, wow.
Cheerios and sugar. Yes. Every day. Give it some.
I would only
Wheaties?
ever do it with bran flakes. Yeah, which is kind of like Wheaties. Bran flakes and Wheaties are practically the same thing.
So it doesn't feel like you're eating cardboard.
Yeah.
Basically.
I love bran flakes though. I'm like a 90-year-old woman. Like I freaking love bran flakes. It's my favorite cereal. But yeah, I would put like 3 to 5 spoonfuls of sugar,
Wow.
which is awful. But
I mean, that's still probably, I don't think, as much as a soda, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds.
that was also back when I was young and still playing sports. My metabolism hadn't completely stopped yet. So
Yeah, I'm hitting that. I'm 6'4", so I mean, I can eat and be fine. But yeah, it's getting more.
right, I'm 5'1".
Ouch.
Like I can't even. I like look at food and gain 5 pounds. Like
Oh my god.
Just the
it's
thought of eating
awful. Right.
It just sucks when you're short because it's more noticeable, whereas like you're like what, like 6'4",
it spreads
right?
around. Yeah, it spreads around.
Yeah, so you have, room for it to spread around, whereas like I'm
Right.
only like 5'7", so like 5 pounds, you definitely notice that.
It's crazy because like I look at my friends and I'm like, wow, you guys are like so much skinnier than me, and I literally weigh like 20 pounds less than them.
Ugh, such a shame.
That's wow.
I bet Danny DeVito's like 70 pounds
How tall?
Why
is
do you
he?
say that?
because he's so short, but he's also like a very round man.
I need to know how tall he is. 1 second.
He can't be more than 5 feet.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with like Snooki. Snooki's like 4'8".
He's 4'10".
Jesus.
He is 4.
Oh my
He's
God.
4'10".
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Does it say his weight?
No. I bet he probably doesn't want to
Doesn't
have
say
that.
his weight. No.
I wish. Let's see.
His
Updated
driver's
weight.
license.
Okay, so I don't know the metric system. He says he weighs 88 kilograms. Make that conversion, somebody that is not from the United.
Well, that's 100 kilograms is
194 pounds.
Yeah. Oh my god.
holy crap.
Damn.
That man is like an Oompa Loompa. Like that is that is
It's a human bowling ball.
Yeah, walking bowling ball.
He is literally round. Like his torso is like a circle almost. So that doesn't
God,
really
how
surprise
has he
me.
not like actually had a heart attack yet?
I mean, he stays active. I imagine he's doing a lot of work.
Always Sunny keeps him moving.
I want to see him as the Penguin just one more time. Like, just
I found a very disturbing photo. I just Google image Danny DeVito, and Danny DeVito hippo is your worst nightmare.
just Google Danny DeVito Photoshop just in general. It's a rabbit hole that you'll never want to leave. Just oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Hippo, I'll have to look at it. Oh my god, yeah, just do yourself a favor. Google Danny DeVito Photoshop. You'll be
Google Danny Dorito.
oh god.
Danny Dorito.
I'll have to put all these.
That's what I'll leave you guys with.
Dorito.
We're the #1 Danny DeVito podcast.
I
I
low-key
see that.
really want this sweatshirt with Danny Dorito on it.
Lanier, what the?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay, well that's
Man.
disturbing. All right, anything else on sugar? It's evil.
I love candy.
No.
Shout out to Candy.
Yep, candy and
I think-
sugar.
Huge shout out to Sour Belts. Number one.
I don't know if I'd say number one, but it's up there. I feel
Have you ever eaten like so much sour candy where you get like little bumps on your tongue?
I just
Oh,
did
yeah.
that 2 days ago.
That's the worst.
that doesn't
I was
sound-
never a candy person.
I like.
The only candy I really like is I love Jolly Ranchers and Lemon Heads. That's about it.
Shout out to the Skittles. I haven't had Skittles in a long time.
Skittles are good.
Sour Skittles.
Starbursts.
Oh, you can go regular or sour with Skittles. It's kind of just all good. It's all good stuff.
I'm a sour boy.
Sour
Can't
one.
go
We
wrong.
have like a candy machine in my basement, and my brother decided to mix the Skittles with the Reese's Pieces.
Oh dear.
Oh, man.
Don't go
I want
with
some
Worst thing,
Reese's Pieces.
like worst thing imaginable.
I'm just gonna go
Chocolate
get
and
some
sour
Reese's
things
Pieces
don't
now
go
because
well.
that sounds fantastic. But all right, well, it's time for I recommend, where one of us recommends to the group something for the others to check out. It can be anything. And since this is our first inaugural episode, we didn't have anything recommended last week. So Elijah, take us home.
All right, so first recommendation, it's a must see. The classic film The Room. I'm recommending it to you all. It's not too hard to find. I mean, just literally Google it. Wink, wink. Oh man, I can't recommend it enough. It's amazing. Watch it with everyone you know.
What's it about?
What?
How's your
Okay.
sex life?
Can't explain it.
Let me try to explain it spoiler free.
Okay.
This guy is gonna propose to his girlfriend, I think, and she cheats on him with his best friend.
This is a
I'll
drama.
leave it at that.
This is a drama.
This is very much
Yeah.
a drama.
but it,
A solid 32% Rotten
it
Tomatoes.
comes
I
out
was
as a
just looking at
comedy,
that.
and I'm fascinated by this film, and I can't wait to watch it.
Huh.
So, yeah, I thought we'd all
It's a
check
must
that
see.
out.
There is nudity, just so you know. There's a lot of man ass.
Favorite kind of ass.
I can't wait.
There's a
Yeah.
video if Donald Trump starred in The Room, and I'm excited to watch that as well.
My entire YouTube recommendation list is all room related because I watched one video of everything that is wrong with The Room, and now I've fallen down this other rabbit hole of the room related videos, and it's beautiful. Like we will never.
You need to watch the whole thing. You need to see it all in
I
context.
need all the context because just the clips, like I'm fascinated by it. But yeah, so we'll check that out. We'll talk about it next week. And this has been episode 1 of Gridlife Digest. Thank you so much for listening. You can head over to gridlifedigest.com to see everything we post, and consider subscribing on iTunes or YouTube so you never miss a topic. We'll be back next Wednesday with another conversation. Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys.